one story and one plot, and then once the climax hit, it was like, boom, something new happened. Welcome back, Radiant Readers. For today's video, I decided to do a book review of The Betrothed by Kiera Cass. So, before we actually get into this review/rant, I just wanted to say that Kiera Cass is one of my favorite authors, and she created the Selection series, which turned out to be one of my favorite series ever, and one of the series that actually really got me into reading. I like the way that she creates her characters and has a great storyline, and I was just so excited when I found out that The Betrothed was coming out. So this book actually came out May 5th this year, and I pre-ordered it in January, so I got it May 6th, and it is also signed. Here, I'll show you. Can you see that? She signed it. Oh, so exciting. So as soon as I got this book, I ran straight to my room, took pictures of it, opened it, and just sat down and read non-stop. It only took me a day to read this book because I love binge reading, but I kind of felt like it was a waste of time. Honestly, my expectations for this book were really, really high, like one of the most anticipated books that I've waited for this year, and after I read it, I was just so disappointed. With that being said, let's actually get into the actual review. So I rated this book a 1 star, and I kind of think that's a little generous for how I actually feel about it. The Betrothed follows our main character Hollis, who actually grew up with other nobles. And basically, what she's been working for is to catch the eye of the king so that he could get married to her and she could become queen. So her parents have been really encouraging this, and even her best friend, Delilah Grace, has been really rooting for her to become the queen. So the king actually confesses his love for her and decides that he wants to get married. But as soon as she starts getting used to this new idea of royalty and how it's gonna be, she ends up running into Silas. And as soon as she meets Silas, apparently she is in love with him, because that's where this book is going. Now she is having second thoughts and doesn't want to marry the king. Alright, now that you know what this is about, it's time for me to start ranting. First, I wanted to talk about the characters. I felt like all of the characters, especially Hollis, has like no personality. Like, her whole personality is just,
oh, want to get married, oh, this person, that person.
Do you know what I mean? And then I just felt like I don't really know anything about her, and she didn't really make me want to get into the story. And then there's the other characters, like Silas. Like, I don't really understand him or what his personality was. Even King Jameis, like, all we know about him is that he's the royal king. So that was like my first like red flag for this book. And then next, the storyline. At first, I was so excited because it seemed to start out with like the selection. Like it was her friend Delilah Grace and like these other couple girls, and it was kind of like the selection in a way because he was trying to find one of them to marry. And then it was like, oh, he chose her, Hollis. I mean, it was kind of obvious because we've read that in the summary. But then it was like, okay, this book is getting good. And then it like just went downhill from there. Like the beginning was building up, the middle I felt like dropped down, and then it was getting close to the climax and I felt like, okay, we're getting back up. But then after the climax, I felt like everything just exploded. Like literally exploded. The climax, in my opinion, made no sense at all. It was just so random. And I kind of felt like it was just there so that way you'd want to read the second book and so that there'd be something for the second book. Because I'm assuming there's going to be another book. The storyline and the characters just didn't get me involved into the book. Like, I didn't feel like I was a part of this world. And honestly, I could care less what happened to Hollis and the characters because I just felt so unattached to it. In my opinion, the characters were just bland. The storyline was just berserk. Like, it made no sense at the end if you've read the climax. And then it's just like, I don't really care what happens next. I just was kind of hurt because I was just so excited for this book and so like, this is
gonna be amazing.
I don't know if it's because my expectations were just so high already because I love the selection and I love the siren and I just love Kiera Cass in general, or if it's just I was hoping it'd be more like the selection. Also, I felt like the romance aspect of this book was pretty bad as well, because as soon as Silas walked in through the door, she was like, "Oh, this is true love. I want to get married." And then the rest of the book, they barely even talked to each other or saw each other. So, I don't know. That's just me. One character that I really, really didn't like was Delilah Grace, because she was a horrible friend. Like, okay, that's not fair to say. She was a pretty good friend to Hollis, and she put up a lot with Hollis's stuff, and she set her ideals aside for her friend. But later in the book, she shows her true colors, and she shows her true motive of what she was actually trying to do from the beginning, and that just made me not like her whatsoever. And I felt like the book went from like one story and one plot, and then once the climax hit, it was like, boom, something new happened. I personally would definitely highly not recommend this book to you. And it really pains me to say because I really love Kiera Cass and I was just so excited for this book and so happy when it came out, but it just no. I hope this didn't hurt anyone's feelings because this is just my opinion, and if you really did like this book and if you love this book actually, please let me know what you liked about it because I just didn't really find anything, but I'd like to see it from your point of view and see what you liked about it. Did you like how the plot was different at the end? Did you like the characters like not having such an intense personality like we always read in books? And maybe you liked the insta-love. I don't know. If you did, then I really want to hear your point of view because I just saw this as a big disappointment. Oh, I'm so sorry. And one last thing I wanted to talk about is, even though this book was kind of horrible in my opinion, and I'm not really interested in the next one, if there is a next one, but if there is a next one, then I would like to read it. Maybe it will get better. Maybe it will make more sense. And also, Kiera Cass is still my favorite author, even after this book. And I want to read all of her books, so I am prepared to read the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching my review/rant of The Betrothed by Kiera Cass. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more of my rants or reviews or any other of my videos in the future, please don't forget to subscribe. Oh, and if you want, you can go check out my Instagram page where I post photos of me reading and of the books I like to read. And I'll see you Radiant Readers later.